Good morning, students. Welcome to today's class. Dear children, today we are going to discuss the new poem of your 8th standard English. That is The Axe in the Wood, written by Clifford Henry Diamond. So this is the poem about the harmful effects of poaching and the indiscriminate cutting of trees. So it is our responsibility to save this nature, save this environment. If we cut the trees, we will suffer a lot. There will be a shortage of rain. So that it is our duty to plant the seeds, and we have to save this environment, save this nature, save this earth. So in this poem, the poet is Clifford Henry Diamond. If you see about, he was born on 1914 as a British poet, critic, editor and journalist. So he was a British poet and he was also a critic and editor and journalist. ಈ ಪದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ The Axe in the Wood ಪದ್ಯವನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವರು ಕ್ಲಿಫೋರ್ಡ್ ಹೆನ್ರಿ ಡೈಮಂಡ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥವರು ಈ ಪದ್ಯವನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರೊಬ್ಬ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಕವಿ, ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿಮರ್ಶಕ, ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತ, ಎಡಿಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಇವರು ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಸಂಪಾದಕರು ಕೂಡ ಇವರು ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಈ ಪದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮರ ಕಡಿಯೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಣಾಮಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. And he was mostly he wrote on the countryside. ದೇಶದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವರು ಬರೀತಾರೆ. His popular literary works are Railway Game, Straight or Curly and The Axe in the Wood. His popular works are Railway Game, and Straight or Curly, Straight, Straight or Curly, Curly, Curly and The Axe in the Wood. So these are his main works. So in this poem, the poet is explaining us about the effects of cutting trees. So what are the effects of cutting a trees? Means it will vanish the environment, and the percentage of rain will decrease, and we will not get oxygen. So through the trees only we are getting oxygen. So that's why if we want a good health, we have to survive. If you want to survive, we have to save nature, we have to save this environment, we have to save these trees. That's what the is telling us. So once the poet was walking, he saw a man was cutting a tree. ಒಂದ್ಸಾರಿ ಕವಿ ಅವರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮರವನ್ನ ಕಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. So that process only explained in this poem. How he cut the trees, how he swing his hats, and how the rhythm of the swinging hats and the sound, the melodious sound of swinging axe. These are being explained in this poem. I will read the poem first. I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk of a tree grown strong through many centuries. His quick axe, sharp and glittering, struck deep, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as the bright axe swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. I know the answer to the chance reproach, how old the tree was and how dangerous, how it might fall, how timber in a stack had more good in it than growing tree. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lovely legacy of wood. Once again, I will read the poem. I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk of a tree grown strong through many centuries. His quick axe, sharp and glittering, struck deep, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as the bright axe swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. I know the answer to the chance reproach, how old the tree was and how dangerous, how it might fall, how timber in a stack had more good in it than a growing tree. Okay, I will explain from first paragraph. I stopped to watch a man strike at the trunk. So once the poet was walking on the road and he saw a man was cutting the tree by the axe. ಒಂದ್ಸಾರಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕವಿ ರಸ್ತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ತನ್ನ ಕೊಡಲಿಯಿಂದ, ಆಕ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಲಿ, AXE, axe means ಕೊಡಲಿ. A man was strike at the trunk. Strike at the trunk. Trunk means TRUNK. Shall I rub this? TRUNK. Trunk means the main stem of a tree as distinct from its branches, ಸೊ ನಾವೇನು ಕಾಂಡ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗವನ್ನು ಟ್ರಂಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದ ವುಡ್ ಕಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟ್ರಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟ್ರೀ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಮರ ಕಡಿತಕ್ಕಂಥವನು ಆ ಮರದ ಒಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಭಾಗವನ್ನು, ಆ ಕಾಂಡವನ್ನು ಅವನು ಕಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೊಡಲಿಯಿಂದ. ಆಫ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೀ ಗ್ರೋನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಮೆನಿ ಸೆಂಚುರೀಸ್ and the tree was so old and it seemed to be century old. ಒಂದು 100 ವರ್ಷ ಹಳೆಯದಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮರ ಅದು. As he was cutting which the tree was cutting by the person that was very old, so that its sharp axe appeared to be glittering. It struck deep inside the dog, and the yellow wooden chips comes when we chop any wooden flew in the air. So the poet is explaining the process of cutting tree. Of tree grows strong through many centuries. So it was there from many centuries. The tree was there from many centuries. ಅಂದರೆ ಹಲವಾರು ನೂರಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಆ ಮರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. Is quick axe sharp and glittering struck deep. So when the woodcutter swing his axe and his axe is so sharp and glittering, observe the word glittering. Glittering, Glitteering, Glittering. Glittering means shining. Shining means ಹೊಳೆಯೋದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಮರ ಕಡಿಯುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ಕೊಡಲೇನಿತ್ತು ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಮೊನಚಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಚೂಪಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಹೊಳಿತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಆಸ್ struck deep. Whenever he swing that sharp axe, it struck deep into the trunk of the tree. ತುಂಬಾ ಆಳವಾಗಿ ಆ ಮರದ ಕಾಂಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅದೇನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೂಪಾಗಿತ್ತು. And yellow chips went spinning in the air. So it was a natural process that which usually comes when the choke any wooden material. When we choke any wooden material, the yellow chips will come out. So, and yellow chips went spinning in the air. Spin means S-P-I-N. S-P-I-N. Spin means turn or pause. Turn or pause. Turn or pause to turn round. A person or thing. A person or thing to turn round. To turn round. To turn round. So whenever the woodcutter spinning his axe, that the yellow chips went spinning in the air. ಅವನು ಯಾವಾಗ ತನ್ನ ಚೂಪಾದ ಕೊಡಲಿಯಿಂದ ಆ ಮರದ ಟೊಂಗೆಗೆ ಹೊಡೆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಳದಿ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಪುಗಳು ಏನಾಗ್ತವೆ, ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೇಲಿ ದೂರ ದೂರ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ so once the poet was walking on the road, he saw a woodcutter was cutting a tree, and the tree was very old, nearly it was centuries old, and the axe that the woodcutter is using, it It was very sharp and glittering. Whenever he swing his axe, it struck deep into the trunk of the tree and the yellow chips spinning in the air. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಾರಿ ಕವಿ ರಸ್ತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮರ ಕಡಿಯೋದನ್ನ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮರ ಕಡಿಯೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನ ಕೊಡಲಿ ಆ ಮರ ತುಂಬಾ ಹಳೆಯದಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ನೂರಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಳೆಯ ಮರ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಮರವನ್ನು ಕಡಿತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಕೊಡಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೂಪಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಳಿತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅವನು ಯಾವ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಏಟನ್ನ ಆ ಮರದ ಬುಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಹಳದಿ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಚಿಪ್ಪುಗಳು ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೇಲಿ ಬರ್ತವೆ. Let's move on to the second stanza. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as the bright hat swung. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. So, the poet likes the sight. The poet liked the sight of cutting the tree. ಆ ಕವಿಗೆ ಆ ಮರವನ್ನ ಕಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆ ದೃಶ್ಯ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. As the person was cutting the tree, so that person is cutting a tree, a melodious sound was heard as he struck the axe and paused as he took it off. So the poet, he liked that sight of that man cutting a tree. As the man that was cutting a tree, a melodious sound was heard. A melodious sound was heard. ಕವಿಗೆ ಆ ಮರ ಕಡಿತಕ್ಕಂಥ ದೃಶ್ಯ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಮರವನ್ನ ಕಡಿತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಮಧುರವಾದಂತ ಶಬ್ದ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Third, he struck the axe and paused as he took off. He struck the axe, paused and as he took off. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಹೊಡೆತವನ್ನ ಅವನು ಹಾಕಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಒಂದು ಶಬ್ದ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅದು ಕವಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Of poise and rhythm. Observe, the poise means P-O-I-S-E. Shall I rub this? You take down all these difficult words in your notebook. Okay? Poise, P-O-I-S-E. Poise means stable and balanced state. Stable and balanced state. Swing means swing. S-W-I-N-G. Swing means move or pause. Move or pause. To move with curving, motion. And I remember how I liked the sight of poise and rhythm as a bright axe swung. ಆ ಒಂದು ಕೊಡಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಹೊಡೆತವನ್ನು ಹಾಕಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, that melodious sound he heard whenever he struck the axe. A man who fells a tree makes people watch, for glory seems to crowd upon the axe. So here the poet says that people have many reasons to cut trees. It might fall as it was very old, but it had more good. So the man who fells a tree makes people watch. So the way he was cutting that tree, it makes people watch. ಅವನು ಮರವನ್ನ ಕಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರೀತಿ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಜನರನ್ನ ಅವನ ಕಡೆ ಸೆಳಿತಾ ಇತ್ತು. For glory seems to crowd upon the axe. ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕೊಡಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವೈಭವವನ್ನು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So it was a skill. Cutting a tree is a skill, and he had that skill. Through the skill, using that skill only, he is cutting the tree, and it attracts the people around. ಆ ಮರವನ್ನ ಕಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ರೀತಿ ಏನಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನರನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ತನ್ನತ್ತ ಸೆಳಿತಾ ಇತ್ತು. So let's move on to the next stanza. I know the answer. Glory. Here one more word is there. Glory. 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 Glory means fame, praise. Fame, praise. Praise. So that the people will praise that. ಅದನ್ನ ಅಪ್ರಿಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಷಿಯೇಟ್, ಅವನ್ನ ಹೊಗಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. Next stanza. I know the answer to the chance reproach, how old the tree was and how dangerous, how it might fall, how timber in a stack had more good in it than a growing tree. So in the last third stanza, the poet is giving reason why it is better to cut the tree. He is telling that I know the answer to the chance reproach. The chance reproach. Chance reproach means chance reproach. Chance reproach means a possible blame. A possible blame. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನನ್ನು ಬೈಬಹುದು, ಅವನನ್ನು ನಿಂದಿಸಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ poet has the answer for that positive chance of reproach. ಆ ಒಂದು ನಿಂದನೆಗೆ ಕವಿಯ ಬರೀ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. How old the tree was. So that tree was centuries old. It was a old tree. ತುಂಬಾ ಹಳೆಯದಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಮರ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. And how dangerous. So the tree was very much dangerous at that situation. Because it was old, it may fall at any time and it may cause for the death of people or animal. ಅದೇನಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ತುಂಬಾ ಹಳೆಯದಾಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳಬಹುದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳ ಮನುಷ್ಯರ ಸಾವಿಗೆ ಅದು ಕಾರಣ ಆಗಬಹುದು. How it might fall, how timber in a stack. How timber means, shall I write this? Timber. Timber. Timber means wood prepared prepared for use in building, for use in building, for use in building, carpentry, etc. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಡಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಮರವನ್ನು ನಾವೆಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟಿಂಬರ್. ಟಿಂಬರ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಕ್. ಆ ಮರವನ್ನು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಹಾಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. And more good in it than a growing tree. So it is better to cut the tree than to leave it like this. ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನೋ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದಕ್ಕೆ, ಕಾರ್ಪೆಂಟರಿ ವರ್ಕಿಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಫಾಲ್ ಅಟ್ ಎನಿ ಟೈಮ್. Because of the fall of the tree, may some death may happens, or some maybe animals or human beings, whatever it may be. ಆ ಮರ ತುಂಬ ಹಳೆಯದಾಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಸಾವಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗಬಹುದಿತ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೆಂಟರಿ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಳಸೋದು ತುಂಬ ಯೋಗ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕವಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. But I saw death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lonely, lovely legacy of food. Legacy means legacy. L-E-G-A-C-Y. L-E-G-A-C-Y. Legacy means something handed down, something handed down, something handed down for by predecessors. A gift left by will. A gift left by will. So here the poem conveys the message that in the last line the poet is telling that okay, it is better to cut the tree because it may cause for the deaths of any animal or human being. But in the last line is telling, but I saw death cut down 1,000 men in that tall, lovely legacy wood. ಒಂದು ಮರವನ್ನ ಕಡಿತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು 1000 ಮನುಷ್ಯರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಯಿಸಿದಂತೆಯೇ. So it is our duty to save these trees, save this environment, save this nature. So that's why I saw the death cut down 1,000 men. Even though he likes that sight, but at last he is telling that whenever he saw cutting the tree, he saw death cut down 1,000 men. 1000 ಮನುಷ್ಯರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೊಂದಂತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So the poem conveys the message that the beauty of nature should be preserved and enjoyed. So total the message which the poem is conveys is that the beauty of the nature should be preserved and enjoyed. We have to preserve that, and we have to say that, and we have to enjoy that. So that's why the poet is telling all the things about the cutting of a tree. Okay, this is all about the poem, the axe and the tree. Okay, let's take the homework. Homework. Why do you think the poet stopped? Why do you think the poet stopped? Second question. Which line tells us that the tree is aged? Which line tells us that the tree is aged? What message does the poem give us? Does the poem give us? So these are the 3 questions I am giving you for today's homework. I hope you all understand and comprehend the poem very much. If you have any doubts, please send it through WhatsApp group and I will give the solution or answer. Okay? Thank you. Let's meet you in the next class.